So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. My name is Fani Reinders, and it's so nice for you to join me on the stream. Welcome, 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 everyone. We are live. It is some of the other ones that I've been. Hey, John Galloway. Thank you so much for the follow, John. Appreciate it. Let's quickly check on the previous followers while I'm at it. A couple of days ago, there was a guy, Camp OK, a guy or girl. Thank you so much, DC Grim, 40 minutes ago. Thank you so much for that follow. And then last but not least, Mr. John Galloway. Thank you for tuning in, sir. So I've decided to pick this one of this times. It's not all the time that I'm gonna be doing morning streams. It just fits my schedule better today. And so let me know in the chat here on the right how you are. If you have any questions, today we're going to be doing some coding, hopefully with WinForms and with Azure Active Directory. So it's been a while. I've been working on this application, initially porting it from .NET 2.0 to .NET Core 3.0. And then also doing some refactorings, teaching the folks how to use the new platforms and the new technologies. And the main idea is just to upgrade it to a more modern stack so that we can have performance, we can utilize one of the performance features of .NET Core, but also to show people how easy it is to mutate an application from a legacy to a kind of a modern. Maybe we'll go Blazor later on, but the idea is to sort of it's a live thing. It's an application that we can actually use to learn from. And what an application is, it's a job card application. For the folks that do not know, it's an application that my folks actually uses for creating job cards. So it's got a little customer management section, and it's got a job card section. So very, very basic. And I must say the code that I've written like 10 plus years ago, or 15 years ago even, it's a bit horrendous. So it's also kind of fun to see how we solved problems way back when, and also as we refactor things, things could get a bit hairy. So nevertheless, I think let's get the show on the road. There we go, get some music playing. If you do tune in every Thursday night Central Time, that is European Central Time, be sure to catch our Dutch webcast that we do every Thursday night at around 8:30. And sometimes I do like a sort of a live cast or live coding at 9 o'clock after that. So do tune in that. It's called sdncast.nl. Also one of our episodes that we do in this live coding, we also back in the way we've actually converted the SDNcast website from ASP.NET Core to Blazor, which was quite interesting, and it's also an ongoing project to do. So let me see if there's anyone in the chat that I need to sort of attend to. Nothing. That I'm actually going to go and I'm going to share my screen. And now what I'm actually doing currently is I'm trying to figure out what is the best way of getting our application. This is not the right one. Let's just close this one. Of getting our application wired up into Windows or into Microsoft Active Directory AD, Azure Active Directory AD, for instance. If you want to follow along, I haven't really committed any source code. I will do that in a sec. I just want to get some. I want to actually show you a demo. So this is a .NET Core application that I've recently migrated from, or upgraded rather, from .NET Core, and we have a few projects, which is all .NET Standard projects here on the right hand side, and we have a core, we have a data, we've got a dull. What's the difference between the two? Well, we'll see. This is the new DAL that we're busy building. We've got some functions and reporting. So I'm not sure if all these functionality will work. The idea is to go around and see what is broken and what is not broken. But the idea is we have this company called Wildlife Fetch. And how this works, it picks up all the connections, the database connections as files on your local machine. And it translates them into a view like this. And when you click connect, there's a breakpoint. It will actually then prompt you for a username and password. In this case, it's blank. We've got a little bug there, and it goes in. So you could actually go in and create your customers and create job cards, etc. There is a few icons that's missing, but we'll attend to that later on. Actually, I think the right process to follow here on the open source, when I open source this code, is which should be soon, is then we need to create issues. So maybe we should, for the stream, we should figure out if we get an issue live, create a issue in our stream, and then we'll just deal with the issues instead of going wildly and just fixing things as we go on, just to add more structure, I think, to the whole thing. Okay, so I've that's the idea. So it picks up these files, and I was like thinking, in my mind, I was like, how can we do this? How would this look like when this is web-based eventually? You know, obviously then it will run server-side or it will run somewhere, but it needs to get because it's multi-tenant by design. It needs to get these connections from somewhere. So we could throw them in a storage and then have each of these icons read from a storage account. Let me see, I've got somewhere, where do we have it? Dev job card. Is it this one? So it picks up this one. Why doesn't it pick up that one? Funny renders. The idea is it picks up all the JCC files, which is job card company files. And if we open them up, it has the title, it has the connection string of the server, and it has the database name. So you can imagine this can be like a JSON object or something that we eventually can store. But for now, let's keep this. I think the aim is to, when it connects to the company, the database it connects to actually needs to be already in Azure, I would say. But the title of the stream is connecting it with Azure AD. So in fact, it is taking this logging screen. It's got two roles. Test. What is that? Oh, that's the user. Okay, so it picks up the users. So it allows you to choose a username and a password, basically. And each user has a role, right? In this case, it's a normal user or an admin user. So I want to be able to replace this little dialog box with an Azure AD dialog box. I think that's the main aim of today's stream. So if you have some ideas, please let me know, and then we can maybe think about it and we can implement it. There's already a bug here when I click OK and stuff like that. I think that might be something wrong with the dependency injection. In previous stream, we've wired up dependency injection into this beast. We're trying to clean up the code as we go on. Okay, so how do we do that? So we have, I see there's lots of support for WPF apps, but this is a Windows desktop app. So the idea is, will this work? And also the question is, would we use the same UI or would we use a normal browser pop-up for the login pages? I tend to choose the browser pop-up thing because it's kind of tending, it's already hinting that it becomes web in a sense. This way it has a Windows desktop app that requires an access token. It gets the access token back. And how it requires access token, I think it's headless or something if I'm not mistaken. But I actually need to be sure. So, what do we have here? Have I done this before? I think what we can do is to create a bit of less noise. Let's create a new application. WinForms. Oh, Darl. .NET. Where am I now? Create new project. There we go. And then we might as well create a new WinForms app, or let's do a WinForms app. WinForms. Forms. Where's my WinForms app? There we go. But that's not the one I want. WPF. Yeah, we could also maybe convert this to WPF, but I don't see the point really. Win. Okay, so let's start with WinForms. This one. So say WinForms Azure AD. Okay, great. Okay, so we have that, and then we have a nice design here. So what we want to be doing is I don't know any of this stuff, so the idea is to learn with whoever's watching. And I'm not an expert, and let's see how it goes. So let's see the idea of this. I already created this is my tenant. I've created on Azure. It's called the Job Card Company. I'm also myself in there, and also I've got a user called Joe Soap, and his username is joe.soap at thejobco.onmicrosoft.com. And we could of course change this username or this domain to foo.io or something, any domain you want. I think that's the idea later, but for now we have got these two users, and we want to be able to allow them to log in. And okay, for some of the folks are asking why Azure AD and stuff like that. I don't want to be storing username and passwords myself, especially in today's world. You need a proper platform to do these kind of things, and also in business wide, I would suggest we use Azure AD for these kind of things. It includes out of the box two-factor authentication and stuff like that. So it's a good fit for my scenario. So that's why I chose this. And of course there are other applications or platforms out there, but I would just go for this, in my opinion, for now. Hashtag no bias. Okay, so what we have here is we have this designer, by the way, that's .NET Core 3, and let's put a label on here, and a button. And then we say, okay, this button's name, let me just see, properties. Where's this button ID? Okay, it's sorted alphabetically. There we go, much better. So let's call this login. And this is, where's this? This is token. Let's see if we can get the token from Azure AD. So whenever I click this button, I want the browser to pop up. It needs to log in, and it needs to give me my my token once I've logged in successfully. I think let's maybe close this for now. I think that's the use case. So let's try that. And what do I need to do that? So there is a mscall that I need to get. So let's install this package. Oh, by the way, I think you can go to NuGet. You get the package source and copy this. Okay, this should work. So the idea is I just copied it and I can go to my CS proj and I can literally go like item group and paste that in there, and the moment I save, it will just fix this. It will then add that package for me in my application. Right, so let's see what is the thing. So okay, we install the package, we initialize it. So then we say, okay, you can add a reference, then initialize the mscall using the following code. All right, we'll just use this. Should we do it here? Maybe. I think that's maybe a good idea. Okay. What do I have missing? Oh, actually not on the screen. Let's just do it here. This one we would do outside. Alright, so then we have that. The client ID and the tenant. So what we need is the client ID and tenant. So let's do that. I can actually just get the samples project. Okay, so we have the client ID and tenant. So we have the application client ID here. And what is that? That is the application ID of the application you registered. So the first thing we need to do is to let Azure AD know about our application. And we do that by going to the tenant. We go to app registrations. And then we can go to, I think, we just go new registration, and then we just say this is the app. So we can say job card app. We just call it a job card app, for instance. Accounts in this organizational directory is the job card company only, single tenant, or accounts in any organization, any Azure AD directory. So it's multi-tenant. I think we should go for this one. I think this one is a better fit for it because it will be multi-tenant. The idea is to be logging into the foo company, and the bar company needs to support it. Okay, so now public client redirect URI. So what we have here, okay, there's a different one that we need to follow, but just checking this out, this is actually quite cool. Bam, bam, bam. Configure an application, register an application. So let's go see what they say here. Contoso web app auth. Okay, so for now, I suppose we can do that by using callbacks. And it would be nice to start a Kestrel server at the background that will authenticate your session going forward. So let's just go job card app. And that's fine. Oops. Register. Okay, so the application is created. It gets me an ID. So we need to get this client ID and this tenant ID. So we copy that. You paste it in there. And the tenant ID is that one there. Right. I think that is fine. And what else do we need to do? Configure web access APIs. Okay, so what will happen if we leave this like it is? It's built and then we say auth result is execute. So say get the user token silently. Okay, cool. We need to see which version we're going to use. So the moment we do that, but what is auth results? I think we set a var in there, and we could say async that. Will this work if I say app dot? Okay, now we have to do that. And scopes. So what are the scopes? Probably helps if I read, hey? Now, which scopes do we need to use then? Oh, there we go. So the scopes is user read, so it should be scope contains all the. Okay, so what type is scopes? All right, so we'll just make a new one. Scopes, and that is a new string array, which is for now I think just user read, I would say. It has enumerable. Okay, so we have that. So let's see what happens when I run this. Hopefully this will work. Okay, so it gets in there. Scopes, auth results, object reference not set to instance an object. Okay. Okay, scopes. This one is null. Why is that null? I see. Okay, so I need to actually assign this app. So that is that. So Control KD. So if I run this again, that should not be null. Okay, that auth result, and hopefully that will. Okay, so only loopback redirect isn't supported, but only loopback redirect URI is supported, but URN IDEF was found. Configure localhost or localhost port both during app registration and when you create a object. Okay. It's funny enough because this was the same as this here. So maybe we should just do it that way. It's funny, let me see. This one. Going back here again. Manifest, maybe? No. Okay, let's see. Need to add this one, and we see if we can add this one in there. Save. Will this actually do something different? I have no idea. Click. Yes, yes, yes. Loopback redirect is supported. Only loopback redirect is supported, but it was found. Okay, so let's try doing localhost as a okay, I see. Maybe this was wrong. Save that there. Okay, come on. What is this? Does it need to be HTTPS or something? What is the problem? Okay, it needs to be HTTPS. Okay. And what does it need? Come now. Must be a valid URL. Okay, and isn't that is that a valid URL? There we go. Okay, so let's go save and see if that updates anything. Let's see. Good. Will that work? No. So both during app registration. So configure that or that both during app registration and when you create an object. Okay. With the redirect URI maybe. So HTTP is localhost. Will that work? We'll get this going now. We'll get this going. Come on. That should be fine. There we go. See, that's what I want. So it pops up kind of with this screen. So I can say, okay, now I need to log in, and I can either then log in using Joe Soap at I think it's the job card company or something. What is it called again? Yes, users. The Jobco. The Jobco.onmicrosoft.com. And the password, which is highly secretive. Okay, now I need to update my password. Okay, let's see. That is the password. The new password is, let's just call this something I can remember. Okay, that's great. Okay, the reply URL specified in the request does not match the URLs configured for application blah, which is not too bad. We can still fix this. Let's use that. Oh, this thing is actually still running. Okay, so let's see. I did that, so Let's see what happens. Because I cannot do HTTP here, I would say. Okay. Because the moment I say HTTP, hey, that also works. Okay, now let's keep it on HTTP then. That is fine. Alright, so what I want is to be able to get that OAuth token. Click there, opens up the browser, log in as Joe Soap, which is, I think it's that password, and it gets back to my application. But now I've got a access token. So now what we can do is we can say access, what's it called again? Token or something. Token.text is auth result dot access token. Great, so now let's see how this works. If it works, again, it should work seamlessly. Okay, that works. Log in. Okay, and then that's the access token. That's great. So we've got that working. Okay, so the next time I open this up again, this is a bit bad experience. Oh, there we go. I pressed the wrong button here. So I've got a question from Quantum Data Ninja. Thank you so much for posting the question. Sorry I didn't see that initially. Yeah, hi, I've got a question. Sai, you think I could ask 170k for entry biometrics? I think this question is a bit irrelevant. But maybe, I don't know. Going back to my screen. Let's see. Where was I now? So I need to be able to close this tab automatically, because that gets called with the browser. So let's see, if we say sign in, that pops up. Okay, so we could go to this one. Which is WPF. This should be the same that we've done before. Some host names, scopes, entry points, and all that kind of things. With B2C authority, okay. And then the main window, I think here, acquire interactive with parent activity window. I think this is it. This is what we want. So I think if we say I'm a bit thrown off now. With embedded web view. That's not an option anymore. With embedded web view, maybe that's not even possible. With prompt, specify that what the user experience for the user. Okay, let's do that. And true. Let's run this and see what happens. An embedded web view is not available on this platform. Please use false or leave default. Okay, I don't want that. I want a web view to pop up. So B2C does not allow redirect URLs to localhost, so the system browser cannot be used. Does not implement any port, so okay, set blah blah redirect, but only that with port URI. This means that you will have to do your own port management, blah blah blah. Okay, so this is interesting. So we have .NET Classic embedded. System and default is embedded. Core, no. That works. Okay, I see. So .NET Core does not do the whole system browser thingy. And I suppose this is... So if I change this just for interest sake to NetFX, is it NetFX? What is it called? I have no idea. WinForms.NET Full Framework. What is this called? And go to the CS proj. It doesn't really say here. I think it's net 478 or something. Or 472 maybe. That will work. So now if I run it now, The question is, will it work? There we go, that works. Oh my soul, that's cool. So this works. So given that it's, alright, so I see. So this, because it's WinForms, it will only run in Windows anyway. So we'll target Windows for now, and we'll do this. We can't go back, which is fine. We'll just say Joe Soap at the jobco.onmicrosoft.com, and then for the password we'll do his password, and then there's the access token. I think that's cool. So how do we do this using .NET Core still? And I think the solution is fairly simple. We create a new project for it, for now at least. So how do we implement this now here? So we have, let's open up the Job Core program. The proof I want to do is that we have a new project. Let me just see, I think other UWP. So let's create a full framework Windows WinForms application. So WinForms, do full framework. Excuse me, and we call it the login one. Let's just target 472 for now. And how would we relay the access token in this case? We could save the access token on a file. Should we do that? And we cannot access, we cannot do this, we cannot reference. No, what am I doing? Let's remove this again. So let's just, we have the main application, and we cannot really say main reference WinForms. I don't think that will work, will it? It actually references the application. Wow. Okay. How does that work? So if I have my form, here, and if I say okay, and then this form, what is this form? This form is called login form. Her login form is new login form. Will that work? Okay. And we could say login form.show modal. Right, so that will work. So now, running from my .NET Core app, click there, that will pop up. Then I log in. Okay. I see, so that's the problem. So it's trying to load some things. Let's see if we can get this in NuGet maybe. So this is a thing. Okay. This kind of works, I think. Let's run again. Version 4. Version 4 is not here. Okay. So I think what we could do is store, I don't know if it's safe or anything, but we could store this as text. And even have it like a little console application, maybe even. That's like little proxy that returns the token. You invoke it, it returns the token. So meaning we have console application, but Windows Forms app. So we say Azure login proxy. All right, and what we need to do is we need to basically go to our form, and I think copy pretty much these things in here. Hi, if you just joined us, welcome very much. Welcome so much. Is that even English? I have no idea. I'm just going to do a Capuchin. For the folks that just joined us, welcome. We are adding Windows. We're having a Windows Forms app that's running on .NET Core, and we're linking that up to Windows Microsoft Azure Active Directory. And the idea is to get that working with an embedded view, which I don't like. On .NET Core, you can do that. So we are running on .NET Classic. Well, .NET Core, it doesn't have embedded view, meaning it does not have that pop-up capabilities that we can work with. It just has the system one, so it opens up the system browser, which is like kind of disconnected from the whole application. And because this is a WinForms application, it will only run on WinForms anyway, at least for now. I would go for Classic for that part of the application, which is fine. Sorry. So I'm building now a kind of a proxy. Look at that. I'm building our application like a proxy that will allow us to authenticate to Azure AD. This one I can actually close. Let's see, where were we? Great. There we go. Okay, when that signs up, you can actually make use of all these things when it starts up. Okay, copy all these things. I think I can actually say async void here, And then on the proxy, when they ask for the name of the oh, okay, cool. How do I return something on return standard output? C#. Well, how does that work? So you have console.net return std out. I think that's what we want, right? So process. Okay. Just say console.writeLine. That's just for now, just to see if we can get this going. Okay, so that's the proxy startup project. When it runs, there's errors already. Okay, static void main. I thought this is included in my C# thingies. That is fantastic. Dear Sung, thank you so much for the follow. That is awesome. Thank you for stopping by though. Do I say that correctly? Dear Sung? Advanced. I want... I see, okay. Dear Sung says, that is correct. Thank you for the streaming. Well, thank you, sir. Or ma'am. Always get it wrong. Yeah, that's awesome for stopping by. Thank you so much. Just having fun. Let me see. Static. Let's actually take this out. So, static async task login. And then we can just move these guys up the stack here. Don't know why that's not working. We can go task.start. Task.run. We can just go login dot login dot wait. Could do that, I think. Right, there's nothing wrong doing that. Yes. Great, so that runs. Now I need to log in. The thing is, it's not part of the system still, so but we'll figure it out. We'll figure out a way of getting that there. Oh, yeah. It's console.read key. Okay, see. There, and then we go. That's what I want. So that's the output I was looking for. Alright, so now given that we have that, so we can, this is our proof of concept, so we can remove that, we can remove this one, and then let's add our project again that we had. WinForms application forms, and let's call this app. And then what we want to do is when this app starts up, have this button and have text box. Text box. So I want my I want my access token to go in there. So what we can do is we could say that this proxy Kim Philpotts, thank you so much for that feedback. Sweet Lord, I see WinForms. Now, don't be alarmed. It is WinForms for .NET Core 3. To give you a history, a short history, this was this application that I'm busy rebuilding is a .NET 2 application. Way back when, and busy trying to migrate it over to .NET Core, which I've done, and now I'm kind of refactoring it a bit more so that I can get Azure AD integration working in it, but still stick on the .NET Core platform. The problem we're having now is that the pop-ups of Windows of Microsoft Azure AD only supports the system browsers for .NET Core, and not the embedded ones. The embedded ones are only supported for the full framework, which means that I need to kind of build my application or part of my application when full framework, which I really don't mind, but I wouldn't like to limit that in a way. And that's what I'm kind of doing. I'm building a proxy, and that should be an exe here. And when you call that proxy out, it will work. So let's try that. So we say we have a const string proxy, and that's that. So that goes away and that dies. Oh, that we go. We need to exe that. Azure login proxy .exe. Okay, so that's my path of my proxy. Now what I want to do is, this is a .NET Core application that I want to be calling that proxy. So I go var process is a new process, and then I can give it a process dot I don't know if this is the right way of doing it, but it sounds right in my head. We need to say redirect. No. Okay, how do we redirect standard output? Start, okay, kill, no. No, start. Alright, we need start info, I would see. Process dot, come on, process dot start info. There's new process start info, and we can say we want to be able to redirect standard output true, and that's start. But how do we get the output from? Windows style. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. You shall execute. Kim Volpots gives me, I hope I say that, I'm not good with names. Thank you so much. Let's pop that up. Process start. We have the file name. You can actually just copy these guys. I think that's perfectly fine. And then the file name that we want to excuse me, want to execute is the proxy. I think that's the proxy thing. Arguments, we're not going to support any arguments for now. True, yes, okay, but how do I get the output? Like that. Alright, so copy and pasting. Let's see if that works. Process. Process. Alright, so now the string line, so we can say, I think it was text box 1.text is my line. If that kind of works. So here's my .NET Core application, which doesn't build, by the way. Let's see where the problem is. Oh, there. Okay. Missing a semicolon. So this is my .NET Core application. So when I run this, that will pop up. It's still not modal though, so it's a bit... We'll figure that out. And I click there. I'll log in. And I should be able to get my... Something's hanging. Oh, my soul. End of stream. Interesting. So that's waiting. We sign in. All right, there we go. Okay, so then it just hangs, pretty much. Now I'm stuck. Alright, so this thing hangs now for some reason. Task manager, there we go. Stop it. So, I wonder if we say, what other options do we have here? That's not what we want. While process is end of stream. Hey, actually put it in there. Did it? Okay, so that works. That's a separate window. Oh. That will also work, most probably. There we go. That works. Thank you so much for the follow. Quantum Data Ninja. Again, I think. Didn't you just follow me? I think. But thank you so much for the follow. That's awesome. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. So there's a .NET Core application. And there's my access token. Which is quite cool. Great. No window, true. Yes. How do I stop? So process dot, I think. Enable raising events, base priorities. let's see what we have here. Process name, responding, session ID, site, standard error, standard output, start info, wait for exits. So instead of doing that, can I have that? Or do we have to say that? Okay. Say wait for exits. Okay, let's try that again. Like that still pops up in the background, which is not really what I want. Hey! It blocks the application though, which is quite cool. But then the whole thing crashes. Okay, I know why it crashes. Because this console line should not be here. Let's try that again. These apps end. I think that should work now. Azure, this one and this one, end task, okay, that should work now. Great. So now if I run this again, click there, it waits, so it does not allow me to go back. Fill the password in, there we go, then it cannot respond. What will happen if I go there and go back? Okay, so it won't see it as authenticated, hopefully. Okay, there we go. So this is what I was thinking of doing with the application. So we could use this proxy to authenticate against. So let's move that into the whole thing. So copy that out. I have a, I think it's the job card. There we go. But that's the application. Yeah. So let's save that in the Azure login proxy. But technically, when I open up my job card program, I should be able to add this existing project, which is this guy in here, right? Red rebuilds. And I think my source will be different, so let's just maybe stick that there. And what was changed here? So we had this form thing. So we basically have a proxy URL that we're going to be using, just to see where this will come into play though. I've lost my train of thought. Was it sign in or something? Log in. Sign in success, sign out, sign in. If sign in, okay, how does this work? So we have to kind of double check my my code here, just to see where we can get this rolling. Let's just run this again. It reads I need to connect to that one, and then the moment I connect, it pops up with my login form. Okay, so it's on that connect button, so we need to, I think it's connect or something, isn't it? Company connect. Comes in here. All right, so let's see, connect. Yes, it comes in here because it reads that file. That reads that file, that connects, gets the connection, refreshes connection, whatever that means. It's my SQL client, and that creates a new login form. Which pops up this. Okay. So what we can do is let's do this. Let's go and say this is old, and this is the new one. Refresh connection, that things can stay up until here. We need to kind of implement it differently, and way around this we will can just for now get a proxy URL hard coded in there. We have that, and we can just copy this in here just to see. Actually, let's say private void or task async. Doesn't really matter, right? So login with Azure AD. And stick that in there. And let's say this returns the access token. and say return await task dot run. I think that should be fine. If something is missing, oh my soul, wait. Return return. All right, so that should work. That. Okay, so this will make everything better. Configure await false or something. Okay. You can say async task open company. Here we can say our token is login with Azure AD. I think that will break half of my code. No, it actually works. So put a breakpoint there to see what happens. Connect. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, wait. That's what we want. Connect. Look at this. Boom. Yeah, that's not really what I want. It doesn't need to go back. Ooh. Connect, that will pop up. It's popping up 3 times though. Just like it's popping up that window 3 times. So this open company function is called 3 times for some reason. Let's just first see if this works. So this close, this close. Ah, come on. Connect. Connect 3 times, whatever. Log in. Okay, that's a token. So I have the token now. Why is it called 3 times now? Let's see where it is. Company name changed. Is that the case maybe? 1, 2, 3. Okay. That's weird. So it's trying to open up the company. Ah, I see. Okay. So let's see what happens if we do this again. Trial and error. Connect. New value is wildlife fetch. That one. This thing goes on each. Okay. And what happens if we do this? Connect. Changed. Ah, it's not the right way of doing things, I would say. Sign out. Okay, sign out is called. Then this is called. There's once. That's interesting. Okay, so why is this thing called 3 times though? Well, let's see. Home company connect. When that gets set, I'm gonna kill that. To see what happens if I do that. Object reference and set to instance object. Still 3 times though. Interesting. So let's see if we can maybe rewrite this process. That subscribing to all events all over the place scares me. I absolutely agree, Kimfil Potts. We need to sort of get this this code in better shape. Question is, where do you start? There's all these events and stuff. And you know, the funny thing is, it's hard because you cannot really see the form, so you cannot really go to the element as expected. So it all depends on this label. Isn't it? Wait, it has an event on top here, I've seen. Wait, let me just maybe